That's what I'm talking about.
Love it.
Michael.
In a world where Hollywood often tells the same stories about the same heroes, through the same lens, one young filmmaker dared to rewrite the script. Born far from the red carpets and studio lights, Ryan Coogler emerged from the heart of Oakland with nothing but a camera, a voice, and a mission: to make people feel something real. His debut film, Fruitvale Station, wasn't just a movie. It was a statement, a cry for justice, a wake-up call that echoed across America. Then came Creed, a rebirth of a legend, and Black Panther, a cultural earthquake that shook the world. But behind the global success and billion-dollar milestones lay a man haunted by responsibility. To his people, to his art, and to the memory of a fallen king. How did a former football player from a working-class family rise to become one of the most influential storytellers of our time? And what does it cost to carry the weight of a generation's hope? This is the untold story of Ryan Coogler, the visionary who turned pain into purpose, and purpose into power. Ryan Kyle Coogler was born on May 23, 1986, in Oakland, California, a city known for its rhythm, rebellion, and resilience. His father, Ira Coogler, worked as a probation officer, and his mother, Jocelyn, was a community activist and counselor. Together they built a home rooted in discipline, empathy, and an unshakable belief in the power of education. But Oakland wasn't an easy place to grow up. Violence, inequality, and racial tension shaped the daily reality around him. Ryan's father often took him to San Quentin prison, not as a threat, but as a lesson. He wanted his son to understand where choices could lead and what it meant to fight for something better. At St. Mary's College, Ryan was first recognized not for filmmaking, but for football. A wide receiver with a sharp mind and fierce focus, he dreamed of the NFL. Yet it was a writing assignment that changed everything. A professor noticed his raw emotional storytelling and told him, "You should be making movies." That single sentence shifted his destiny. From the field to the film set, Ryan Coogler found a new arena, one where his voice could tackle the world's hardest truths. After discovering his calling, Ryan Coogler transferred to Sacramento State, where he began studying finance. But his passion for storytelling wouldn't fade. He spent late nights writing scripts that reflected the people he grew up with. Men and women who loved deeply, fought fiercely, and often went unheard. That obsession led him to the prestigious USC School of Cinematic Arts, where he honed his craft under a new discipline, filmmaking with purpose. His short films, Locks, Fig, and Gap, earned praise for their emotional honesty and grounded realism. They weren't polished Hollywood fantasies. They were raw slices of truth. It was during this period that fate introduced him to actor and producer Forrest Whitaker. Whitaker saw something rare, a storyteller who didn't just want to entertain, but to heal. He took Coogler under his wing, guiding him through his first feature film, Fruitvale Station. The film was based on the real-life tragedy of Oscar Grant, a young black man killed by police at an Oakland train station. Ryan, barely 26 at the time, poured every ounce of pain, memory, and hope into the project. When Fruitvale Station premiered at Sundance, it received a standing ovation and 2 major awards. In that moment, the kid from Oakland wasn't just a filmmaker anymore. He was a voice for a generation. The success of Fruitvale Station was more than critical acclaim. It was a cultural awakening. Hollywood had witnessed a new kind of filmmaker, one who could merge activism with artistry, truth with tension, pain with poetry. Ryan Coogler wasn't making movies to impress studios. He was making them to move people. Among those moved was Sylvester Stallone. The Hollywood legend, impressed by Coogler's emotional storytelling, invited him to reinvent a legacy. Rocky. What came next was Creed, 2015, a film that honored the past while creating its own legend. With Michael B. Jordan as Adonis Creed, Coogler crafted a story not just about boxing, but about identity, legacy, and perseverance. The film struck a nerve. Critics called it a masterpiece of modern myth-making, and it earned Stallone an Oscar nomination. But more importantly, it proved that Ryan Coogler could handle big budgets and big expectations without losing his soul. Then came the moment that would define his career. Marvel called. At only 31, Coogler was chosen to direct Black Panther, the first Marvel superhero film led by a black cast and directed by a black filmmaker. The stakes were enormous, and so were the hopes of millions who longed to see themselves as heroes. When Black Panther hit theaters in 2018, it didn't just break box office records, it broke barriers. The film earned over $1.3 billion worldwide and became a cultural phenomenon, blending Afrofuturism, African heritage, and political power into one breathtaking vision. Ryan Coogler had arrived, not just as a director, but as a movement. Success can be louder than truth. After Black Panther, Ryan Coogler became one of Hollywood's most powerful young directors. But behind the triumph, he carried an unbearable weight. The film had turned him into a global symbol of representation. Yet that same crown brought pressure, expectation, and scrutiny. When news broke in 2020 that Chadwick Boseman, the heart of Black Panther, had passed away after a private battle with cancer, the world was shattered. No one was hit harder than Coogler. Chadwick wasn't just his star, he was his brother, his partner in purpose, the man who embodied the very idea of Wakanda forever. In interviews, Coogler later revealed he almost quit filmmaking entirely. "I didn't know if I could go back," he said. "How do you make Black Panther without Black Panther?" The studio and the public waited, divided between grief and anticipation. Rumors swirled. Would Marvel recast T'Challa? Would Coogler even return? Some critics doubted he could rise above tragedy without exploiting it. Others accused him of carrying a political agenda. But through silence and pain, Coogler wrote, he chose not to replace the hero, but to honor him. Wakanda Forever became not a sequel, but a eulogy, a cinematic funeral for a king, and a healing ritual for millions. Still, the journey came with its own storms. Filming during the pandemic, dealing with cast injuries, and facing impossible expectations, Coogler found himself at the crossroads of art and grief. The boy from Oakland had once fought for a voice. Now he was fighting to hold on to it. When Black Panther: Wakanda Forever finally premiered in 2022, the lights dimmed and silence filled theaters around the world. From the first frame, a nation mourning its fallen king, audiences knew this wasn't just another superhero movie. It was Ryan Coogler's heart, laid bare on screen. The film was both tribute and triumph. Coogler channeled his grief into storytelling, transforming loss into legacy. Critics praised his maturity, calling the film a meditation on death, love, and cultural identity. It grossed over $850 million globally, proving that emotion, not spectacle, was Coogler's true superpower. But what made his redemption remarkable wasn't just the film's success, it was how he redefined his role in Hollywood. Rather than chase blockbusters, Coogler chose purpose. He founded Proximity Media, a production company dedicated to empowering underrepresented voices. He mentored young filmmakers, partnered with streaming platforms to amplify diverse stories, and continued collaborating with Michael B. Jordan on projects that blended art and activism. In interviews, he spoke less like a celebrity and more like a teacher. The goal, he said, is to tell stories that remind people of who they are. Ryan Coogler had found peace, not by escaping pain, but by transforming it. Through loss, he rediscovered why he started in the first place, to give others the same hope he once searched for in the dark. Ryan Coogler's journey is more than a Hollywood success story. It's a blueprint for what art can become when it dares to speak truth. From the streets of Oakland to the world stage, he proved that cinema isn't just entertainment. It's a mirror, a movement, and sometimes a revolution. He changed how audiences see heroes, not through superpowers, but through humanity. He gave Black voices a platform that reached billions, and inspired a generation of young filmmakers to believe their stories mattered. Coogler's films are filled with loss, love, and purpose. Reflections of a man who understands that greatness isn't about fame, but about impact. And though he's still young, his legacy already echoes in classrooms, in communities, and in every heart that beats to the rhythm of Wakanda forever. Because in the end, Ryan Coogler didn't just make movies. He made meaning. Ryan Coogler's journey is proof that art can heal, empower, and redefine what it means to be a hero. If you believe in stories that change the world, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to Stars and Scandals.